So our speaker today is Steve Mahony from Haliburton, where he's a partner. And Steve and Haliburton specialise in Part 26A, so this mysterious, mysterious Part 26A, which is helping a lot of businesses. So what I'm going to do, Steve, I'll spotlight you, so you're full screen, and I know you've got a question you want to ask everybody. So let's get going.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. I'm just going to put this into the chat. It's a very simple question. Have you heard of Part 26A? So if you wouldn't mind in the chat, just saying yes, yes or no. If I just say up front, I don't expect anyone to have heard about it. That's the normal, but I'm just asking in advance. Right.
All knows.
A lot to know. That is the normal. I presented to 30 accountants recently, and not one had heard of it. But I'll explain that's not a surprise to me. So Susan, shall I just carry on and share screen now?
Yep, that'd be great. Yep.
Okay, lovely. Okay, firstly, a warm welcome to everyone. It's really nice to meet everyone from lots and lots of different locations, including overseas, which is brilliant. So my name's Steve Mahony. I'm a partner in Haliburton Turnaround Specialists. I'm going to be speaking to you today about the 16-week turnaround. So it's something that's a completely different way of transforming how accountants support your clients in financial distress. 23,938 companies went under last year. Pretty shocking, eh? How many could be saved? That's my question. So that's a near record high, and I think we probably all agree it probably hasn't hit the peak, unfortunately. But just a couple of things to highlight here. That's 1 in 190 active UK companies entered insolvency. What's shocking for me, 93% went straight to liquidation. No rescue attempted. So fewer than 1 in 14 even attempted a CVA or administration. Our businesses deserve more. So this isn't a company problem. It's a person's whole life. So I know as accountants, you will all understand this because you've probably been close to this recently or in the past. So the director, they lose control of their business overnight. Someone comes in and takes over. The family home can be on the line. Personal guarantees, a lot of business owners carry personal guarantees that can be called in full and immediately. That can mean the house. Every decision they made gets picked over. 2 years of transactions examined with hindsight by someone who wasn't even there. They can be barred from running a company. Up to 15 years in the public register, anyone can search, including their children, including their family, including their friends. Starting again is far harder than they expect. They can't reuse the name they built for 5 years. Credit dries up. HMRC can demand months of that up front. That's been newly introduced, which is awful. So it can follow a director for the rest of their career. So the question I asked, so before today, had you heard of Part 26A? The answer was a resounding no. But as I said before, I'm not surprised. I certainly didn't expect you to have. So there's a question for the room here. What happened to Poundland? So we all know that amazing business sells everything for £1 or less or slightly more. What happened to Poundland? So a few years ago, it was in serious trouble. It looked like it was going to go out of business. What happened to Poundland? Well, Poundland didn't go to an insolvency practitioner. Didn't go into administration. It didn't go into liquidation. It went through a Part 26A plan and is still trading today. So there's 800 active stores. Thames Water, in the news again now, but you might remember around 2021, Thames Water was in billions of pounds worth of debt. I remember loads of people talking about it was on the news. Everyone assumed it was going to be nationalised or it was going to collapse. Loads of people outside of London saying we don't want to pay, pay for them. We don't want our taxpayers' money going in. It was really in trouble. All of a sudden, radio silence. What happened to Thames Water? They didn't go to an insolvency practitioner. They used Part 26A, it's the exact same process. They cut hundreds of millions of pounds worth of debt, saved all their staff, and guess what? They did this privately. And you know it's privately because you didn't know about any of this. So the same law and the same process is now available to SME businesses, so businesses with £800,000 worth of liabilities upwards. So, Part 26A, the change in the law that almost nobody was told about. So if we kind of step back to 2020, that kind of crazy time that I kind of look back and sometimes it feels like a dream for me that we were all in lockdown. I think for you guys as accountants, from my memory, we were all locked down and everyone was saying to their accountants, what do we do next? So I think you guys were busy, no one else was because we were all at home. But it was such a crazy time. So the government did what governments regularly do. So they did three things during this time. Well, they probably did a few other things, but three major changes to the law. Two of them we know about. The third one we didn't. So they introduced the bounce back loan for companies to keep them trading. They introduced the furlough scheme for staff at home. But they also introduced a third thing, which was called Part 26A. Now, if you think about it, there was hundreds of thousands of businesses that in essence were insolvent. No money coming in, but they still had their overheads. The government were aware of this. They're given bags of cash that was abused by lots of companies. But that wasn't the answer. We could have lost the majority of our businesses in the country. So they changed the law. So the Companies Act of 2006 got changed and they added Part 26A. So that was in 2020. So it was a rescue route built deliberately outside of insolvency law. Why didn't that change the world? I've come from a business background all my life, from the age of 21 to now run my own business. Why hasn't this changed the world? Because for the years afterwards, all of the Part 26As were the big companies. So Poundland, River Island, Thames Water, Prezzo, that Italian restaurant chain, Virgin Active, their gyms. So what they all had in common was 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 million pound businesses. So They were very able. If someone said to them, for £5 million, we'll knock £100 million off your bottom line, your debt, it's a great deal. But how many SMEs have got that kind of money? So the law was there, but it was out of reach for our clients, for SMEs. That's changed now. So Haliburton has helped open it up to SMEs. So it's the same court sanctioned process, but engineered to work for businesses that aren't at that kind of level. So the change is the law is there, but there's now access. So that's why you haven't heard of it. You wouldn't have heard of it until recently because there was no reason. The costs only ever made sense for the big companies. So what is Part 26A? So it's a court sanction plan under the Companies Act of 2006. It lets a genuinely viable company reach a binding agreement with its creditors, even classes who would vote against it. The test the court applies is called the relevant alternative test. Would creditors be better off under this plan than they would be under administration or liquidation? If the answer is yes, the court can approve it, even if some creditors would object. So Parliament built this to save companies. A viable business now has a route that puts rescue first, rather than insolvency being the only door open to it. So just to make this clear, 3 things it's not. We're not insolvency practitioners. This is not insolvency. It sits completely outside insolvency law. So it's not administration. It's not liquidation. We're not a liquidator. It's not a CVA. So no creditor. There's no creditor vote. There's no veto. There's nothing for HMRC to block. So I think most of you will be aware what a CVA is, company voluntary arrangement. So voluntary is the key word here. You need 75% of all creditors to agree to it, which is very hard to achieve. That's why they don't really work. The banks will say, well, we've got a personal guarantee against your house, so we'll take that. HMRC often blocks it. So general restructuring has always struggled. So this is different. And it's not a typical restructure for similar reasons. Here people say, oh, well, we've done restructuring. No, this isn't a restructure where you get everyone to agree to shave in a little bit off the bottom line. This is a rescue with teeth, and no creditor holds the veto. So, side by side, why this is different from what you may already know. The 16-week turnaround. The business keeps trading. With administration, often stops. CVA, it will carry on. Confidential. There is no public record. Any insolvency procedure is on Companies House and everyone knows it. There is a branding. This is completely private. The accountant stays involved with other processes they might do. With this, we actively work with the accountant and pay the accountant to help us with many of the accountancy tasks that are involved. That also works for the client as well because they have a relationship with their accountant. This is court sanctioned. So yes, this is court sanctioned. Administration is, but I'll go on to explain how this is different. The CVA, it's not. It's a voluntary arrangement. This is court sanctioned. Can one creditor block it? No. Unbelievably, HMRC can't block it. The banks can't block it. No one can block it. With anything else, any other insolvency procedure, it can be blocked. The typical speed, 8 to 16 weeks. 8 is the quickest we've ever done it in, which was a really engaged company, and their accountants were brilliant as well. Any information we needed, they got it over straight away, and the court were very quick as well. 16 weeks is it, 12 to 16 weeks is the average. But if you imagine administration, months to years. The same with liquidation, months to years. It just goes on and on. So BSTBTD, easy to say, was a small digital platform. So this was a small case. It was a digital platform, not a well-known company. The court sanctioned its Part 26A plan in full. And the judge said the jurisdiction is not the preserve of the large corporation, which was just so brilliant to hear. Brilliant to hear. Just confirming this is for SMEs now, and it should be. That was the whole idea behind it. So the 16-week turnaround. How Haliburton delivers Part 26A for an SME. So the 16-week turnaround. What does it actually deliver? We can cut all liabilities of a company by 50 to 70%. The average is 60. But when we're speaking to clients, we will say to client, our target is to cut all of your debts, all of your liabilities by 50%. So 8 to 16 weeks is the time period. So it's quick. Court sanctioned. So when I mentioned court sanctioned before, the judge looks at this next to the alternative. So the plan we're presenting, let's say our plan is we're going to cut 50% of the liabilities, the directors stay in the company, no staff lose their jobs, and creditors get 50% of what they are owed. If that is better than administration and liquidation, we have to provide a plan of what would happen to the company if it did go into liquidation. Our plan is always better, because with a liquidation, normally the directors suffer a lot. If they can stay in the business, staff always lose their job, creditors get very little, so pence in the pound. Where this is different, if the judge decides he or she is happy with the plan and it gets court sanctioned, it is a fait accompli. So the creditors can't push back, they can't argue, they can't try and veto. It's a fait accompli. That is what's going to happen. The judge imposes what's called a cross-class cram down. So can cram down all the different classes of creditors, even the ones that have traditionally blocked things. 100% private. So you imagine, we all know all the branding with insolvency procedures. This is totally private. One word appears on Companies House and it says restructure. Restructure is such a normal word and positive word in our industry. Trades throughout. So once we sign up a client, we'll literally say to the directors, we'll see you in 2 or 3 months. Just carry on working the business now without any of the pressure, because any creditor pressure is now ceased and the directors stay in control. So we assess the viability in 1 to 2 weeks. In essence, we'll try and do it in 1 week. Sometimes we could do it in 3 or 4 days, because it's very important to let the client know whether we could do this for them or not. We're very straight with this. If it can't work, we will tell you, and we'll tell the client, and we do that as early as we can at no cost, and we'll provide any other options or help we can. So which of your clients is this for? So any client with £800,000 worth of liabilities up to about 50 million. That's total liabilities. So that's every kind of tax, VAT, anything covered by HMRC. It could be banks, it could be bank loans, it could be overdrafts, it could be trade creditors, could be leases, could be anything. Because if we can successfully get this sanction, we can wipe it out. We literally say to the clients, empty your pockets out, put it all on the table. The more that's on there, the more we can get rid of. The company still needs to be trading, so not dormant, and no formal insolvency process already started. Viable, this word's really important. So a business that has got a real order book, real clients or reoccurring revenues, with decent company just struggling. Normally they're under pressure, and quite a bit of pressure, but that could be HMRC arrears. That's normally one of the big ones. Stretched creditors, cash that never quite catches up. You know, all the people who thought, all the business owners thought, thank God 2025's out the way, 26 will be better, and God, you know, there's even more challenges this year. And directors who want to stay in control. So this is the key question, the one question that you ask the client, or you think about with a client. If the client's debt were cut by half, would the business be viable and cash generative? If the answer is yes, that's a conversation worth having. But also just to say, if a client doesn't quite fit, it's still worth asking. Just throw it over. There's other routes we can look at if it's not quite there. So a case study. This was a Midlands manufacturer. 4.2 million of liabilities. HMRC had already served a winding up petition. 42 staff. This was a family run business, and a director who was in meltdown. We actually got this case just by chance. The accountant just happened to find us, referred it over. We looked at it really quickly. It's a brilliant company. We did a feasibility within a couple of 3 days and knew we could help them. So as soon as they signed up and we were starting a Part 26A plan, it meant all actions were adjourned and stopped. The relief for the director was palpable. It was incredible. So we changed this. The plan, the Part 26 plan, enabled us to reduce the liabilities of the company from 4.2 million to 890,000. So total liabilities, 79% reduction. We did this in 14 weeks and 42 jobs were saved. This is what it should be all about. So the business returned to profit. It was amazing. It always had that potential. It was just stuck in the soup. The accountant was the star, rightly so, and 1-2 referrals from the director. But it's a lovely story, really lovely story. And the business was able to carry on running their business without the pressure. So where does this sit in your world? So this is important. This works alongside all existing relationships. If you've got an IP you trust, that doesn't change. This is the conversation that happens before they're ever needed. So we already work with a number of IPs, interestingly, who pass business to us. So where the business doesn't want insolvency or simply isn't ready for it. So If it works, your client is saved. If it isn't the right fit, your usual referral routes are exactly where they've always been. So you don't lose an option, you gain one. These are 3 of my most common questions. So will my client end up on some register? So with insolvency, obviously the answer is yes. With this, the answer is no. There's no public record. There's no gazette notice. Staff, suppliers and customers need never know is what you decide to tell them. The business keeps trading throughout. Love this one. Sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? Well, there's no free lunch. We all know that. So it only works for a business that's genuinely viable underneath the debt. If a business is already gone, this won't bring it back. But I will say that straight away. If a company is too new, a judge probably won't sign it off. And if it is all bank debts and personal guarantees, that can sometimes get a little bit sticky. But just check. Any cases, just check. We'll be able to tell you straight away whether we think a Part 26A will work or not. So what does this cost you and the client? So we work on a success fee, and this is really important to us because we want to be aligned with the client. This is about saving the business. So on court sanction, we charge a success fee. If it is not sanctioned, we don't charge our success fee. So that shows we all have skin in the game and we believe in what we're doing. We do a pressure test, which I'll show you afterwards, which is free to help the client, and the initial review we do with the client as well. That's free as well. So we'll walk you through anything else on each case because they're all different. There is free fees up front, which is agreed with the client. In essence, that just covers the restructuring or the accountancy work and the legal work. We don't make money on that, but that's covering costs. It's the success fee where we make our money back end, only if we deliver. So the business pressure test. So privacy works. With this kind of topic, privacy is really important because we all work in business. Clients don't want to admit they have issues. You don't see business owners walking into the pub telling their mates their business is struggling. Half the time they don't even tell their family. Secondly, we all have it in us as business people. We can trade through this. I can turn it round, because there's always a bad month. People away on holiday, September will be okay. The problem is we live in hope we can turn it round. If it goes too far, it's too late. And obviously with accounts, the accounts you're looking at is in arrears. So you might not have that snapshot of the here and now. So we put together a pressure test I'm going to show you that accountants have been using that they really like because it allows the client to do it. It's 10 questions, it takes 3 minutes. They can do it on their phone, on their sofa, at home without anyone knowing. It's quick, it's totally private. So I'm just going to unshare for a second, then I'm going to share the test. Okay, so I'm going to share again. So hopefully you can all see that. So it's, yeah, the business pressure test. That's what it's called. If you want to just have a little read of that, it's kind of what I've been going over, but it's just telling the client that there's something different. If you are under pressure, there is something different. There's a way to reduce what you owe that is private and you probably haven't heard of. Then it just tells a little bit about it's confidential, HMRC can't block it, no public record, it's court sanctioned, proven over 50 businesses. So it just gives them a little bit of background. Hopefully everyone's seen that. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna now go into the test. So 10 questions, 3 minutes. What are the total liabilities of your business? So there's a range there. I'm just going to go for some mid-range here. So let's say 800,000 to 2 million. Do you have outstanding HMRC arrears? Normally the answer is yes. I'm going to put yes, significant and growing. What level of creditor pressure are you currently facing? Let's put building, but not yet critical. How long has the pressure been building? 6 to 18 months. Is the business currently trading? Let's try yes, but turnover is declining. How strong are the fundamentals of your business? So good foundations, but under financial pressure. If around half your business debt were removed, would the business be viable? So I'll just do probably yes. What do you want for your business? Do you want to turn it around, keep it going, consider selling, so exits? I'll say keep going if the debt problem was solved. Has any formal process been started? No, nothing formal. Would your business have real value to a buyer? Let's just put yes, some value. So this is what they'll see next. I'll just put my details in and it will give them a results page. So this one here is saying that this is a strong candidate. So there's different indicators. So based on your answers, there's a specific legal process that's very likely to work for your situation. So it's just having a little bit more there. Gives them a little bit of context. And if they so wish, they are able to just book a meeting with me. So I'm just going to go back into the presentation now. Okay. So there's 3 different outcomes there. So it ends up just showing one. There's 3 different outcomes. The first one, and this is designed to not have to just pick out the companies who you think are struggling. That's difficult to do, and it's not really fair. There's loads of companies who are under pressure, maybe not critical pressure, but they're under pressure. So this is for all businesses. Let's just see how your business is. So the first one is you're doing well, no immediate concern. They'll kind of say, well done, things are going well. Keep in contact with your accountant, your advisors, your team. Keep doing what you're doing. What's nice is they'll just know, they'll have a little bit of education on, maybe something a little bit different. The second option is where there's a few red flags, and that's worth a conversation. So someone might book a meeting with me, right? Obviously talk to them about their situation and just take a view of if part 26A is right for them or other options, and I'll let you know that. I'd share that with you. So it's probably not urgent, this, but they're basically saying things are difficult. The third one needs attention now, and that normally is I'm in a very, very difficult situation. Probably arrears with HMRC, probably getting letters from creditors. They are the most likely to jump on the call. Same thing, I'll just do a preview of the business, see where they are, find out what their financial situation is. I will talk to them about options just to go away and think. I will be saying to all people, anyone who comes through, I'm gonna, as long as you're happy, I'm going to share this with your accountant, so we will all get together and discuss the best options for you. So that's the pressure test. So how does this work for you? We're all in this together, and I think we all agree if we can save businesses, it's brilliant. It's something that's never really been around or used in this country, which blows my mind, but it's something that's here now. So for you as an accountant, firstly, you don't lose a client. What's the cost of acquisition of a client? You get X amount of fees per year, and having to replace them is complicated. We all know that. Getting new clients is difficult. If you do pass a client to us, and we are able to help them, as a thank you, there will be an £8,000 fee. So on successful sanction, so that'll just be paid directly to you. Thirdly, I mentioned we like to work with the accountants as part of the Part 26A plan over 3 or 4 months. There's actually quite a bit of accountancy work, so our team can do a lot of it, but we actually like to work with the accountants. So if you want to get involved and it's your client, you're the first people we will ask. So it could just be simple financial reviews, cash flow modeling and forecasting, up to court grade financial statements and creditor analysis. So there's quite straightforward accountancy work, and there's complicated accountancy work. We would scope that with you. So we would say, we could do with X being done. Are you happy to do it? If you'd like to, you are more than welcome. If you're too busy, that's fine as well, because we can, we've got people who can do it. We will pay you the fees. So you will give us a cost for doing that work. What's important to know is you will get paid from us. So you won't be chasing the company that's struggling for money. So I know that's important. So the plan is to set you up with this. I know Jenny has got a link, so we've got an AVN link that you guys will all be able to use, and it's got a great step-by-step guide of what you can do. Also, if you want, you can connect with me direct, and I'm able to personalize the link for you. So if you want that done, we can do that as well. And I'm gonna share a link in the comments as well. And you'll be pleased to hear that that's the end of it. So thank you so much for listening. And I'll just open the floor to any questions.
Fantastic, Steve. Thank you. If you want to stop sharing your screen, and then we have got some questions coming in, or have already come in. So Michael's asking, if a company already has had a winding up order issued, how do you get the banks to unfreeze the accounts?
Yeah, good question. Part 26A trumps a lot of things because the court allows it to do that, but it's on a case by case basis. It might not necessarily be freed up straight away. but any actions we can get them either removed or stayed during the process.
Okay. And Chris has asked, why is the lower limit set at 800k of liabilities? This excludes many SMEs with liabilities of around 500k.
Yeah, brilliant question. We are hoping within 12 months we can do it for everyone. That's the genuine question. We would like to do it for everyone. But if you imagine putting a Part 26A case together, it takes us 3 or 4 months. You have accountants, you have forensics, and you have lawyers working on this. So that is the minimum level where it becomes commercially viable, even for us. But we're hoping we'll be able to do that.
Okay. And Yogesh asked, so Part 26A is to write off 50% of debt and we can still continue to trade? Question mark.
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on the company. Do you remember I was talking about viable companies? If after cutting 50% of the debt, the company isn't viable, it won't happen. But the court here, if you think this is the interpretation of the law, the government is saying, let's try and produce a plan that works for everyone. So will a creditor getting 50% be happy? Well, the answer's probably not, until they see what's called the alternative plan. The alternative plan, which is what our forensics have to produce, is what will happen to the company with no intervention. And it will say, you will probably get, well, it comes out very specific. It'll say creditors get 7 pence in the pound in 18 months time. So it's all relative. The idea here is trying to achieve a win-win-win, whereas sometimes with insolvency it's a lose-lose-lose.
Okay. Manawar asked to share your contact details, which I know you did earlier, so maybe just before the end of the session just put those in the chat again. But also, what about directors' overdrawn balance?
That can be part of it as well.
Okay.
That can be part of anything that is a liability can be put on the table. Every plan is unique, so you can't guarantee it will be part of it, but that can be included. And actually, something you've just triggered something there, so it was a very good question. With the creditors, the Part 26A plan allows for a preferential creditor to be ring-fenced. So let's say you have a business where they have one supplier, and if they fell out with that supplier, their business is gone. We are able to make that as part of the application to the judge. We cannot touch this creditor because we won't have a business without it.
Okay. And now James is asking, is the debt cut equally across all types? So if it's cut by 50%, would all creditors lose 50%, or are some more protected? I mean, you've just kind of answered that a little bit.
No, that if I may just answer that, that's actually a brilliant question. So we will say to clients, the target is to cut the liabilities by 50%. So a client's going to be really happy if you can achieve that. In reality, you're on the money. Some people will be cut more and some people will be cut less. If you've got the bank and they've got bank guarantees, they have more power. So it's an average.
Okay. And Chris says, as the process court sanctioned without creditor buy-in, Have you found that resentful suppliers refuse to continue doing business with the company going forward, thereby jeopardising the future as a going concern?
Yeah, do you know what? These are brilliant questions. So, on a human level, what we try and do with this, and it is part of the process, is to be saying to the creditors, look, this is a decent business. This is a business. This isn't someone trying to screw the creditors over. This is a business that has just got in trouble. They've been trying to trade out of it. You would have got nothing. This is all done in good faith to try and produce something that works for everyone. So could I say to you, a creditor might not fall out with them or might fall out? It is possible, but I think the idea behind it is court sanction. It's the court saying they believe this is the right thing. So I think creditors normally fall out with businesses when they're not answering them, when they're not paying them, when they're hiding, when they're doing things behind closed doors. I think with this, it's very much out in the open.
Okay, that's great. Right, so I think that's all the questions at the moment. I mean, some really interesting, the whole
Brilliant.
process sounds really interesting.
Brilliant.
So I think let me just check I haven't missed any. No, I think that's all of them. If you've got anything else, then please put it in. And I mean, yeah, Steve, I don't know if you just want to put your contact details in there again, just in
Yes.
the chat so people can get in touch. The other thing I was going to say, so for any AVN members here, we've actually got created a resource. Chris is saying sorry about my typos. That's okay. We've created a resource which is in System Builder, and I can actually put the link to that here now. I can just get that up. Oh, it's not working. So if you're an AVN member, you can go and have a look at that resource, which really goes into this in a little bit more detail. And of course, you've got the pressure test, which you've just put in, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've put that in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think definitely worth looking at your clients and just seeing if you think that anybody's going to fit those criteria. Because of course we all want to save clients' businesses, don't we? As you say, Steve, it's a win all round, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
And
Okay, so yeah, if anybody else does have any more questions, please put them in. The recording will be in the Accountants Know-How Club later this afternoon, so you can catch up with it there. All right, so Chris has said, have insolvency practitioners being offering this service? Is that being offered this service? I know you said you worked with some insolvency practitioners already.
yeah,
Sorry, you finished typing. I know it's hard, can't speak and type at the same time.
sorry, I'm rubbish at typing. I'm a bloke, so multitasking. So I'll put my name in, my telephone number. Feel free to give me a call on a mobile or a WhatsApp or anything, and my email address on insolvency practitioners. And I'll be very honest with you. I'm always very honest, rightly or wrongly. There are some insolvency practitioners who were feeling very threatened over it. And there was one that I approached, and he said, "Wow, this is amazing." Then came back and said, "Really embarrassed to say our directors don't want to deal with it because it's competition." For me, it's all about the client. We will get cases to us that Part 26A doesn't work for them. They're probably so. I'll just pass it over. However, I've had a few insolvency practitioners come to me recently saying, "We've got people we can't help," and I went, "Brilliant, brilliant. We should all work together." So I think IPs are seeing it. It's not part of insolvency law, so it's not their thing, and the only people who were doing it before was the London law firms, and they charge millions to do it.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
think it'll change over time.
yeah, because so Chris's addition to that was like, for example, KPMG, PwC, EY, so like the big ones. I don't know what or they already be doing it for their clients,
That,
bigger clients.
yeah, they will probably refer to the big law firms for their big clients.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if they're a few hundred million there, they'll be doing that. But our kind of thoughts on it is, you, with any kind of process, unless it's just purely a legal process, you don't want lawyers doing the whole thing because they charge you a fortune just to write a letter. So we use the legal team for the legal parts.
Yeah. And Mo is asking, does this affect the company or the director's credit file?
Yeah, that's a really good question. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. So coming out of this, if you imagine when you go into insolvency, it affects your credit rating and everything, your ability to deal with things. This doesn't, because you've got a fait accompli, you've got an agreement with everyone, and actually you've almost got a brand new business there because you've got cash flow again.
Yeah. Yeah. Jazz is asking, is there any statutory obligation for insolvency practitioners to offer this? And if not, why not?
No, because it's not insolvency law.
Okay.
It's companies law.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. Some really interesting questions there.
Brilliant questions. Brilliant questions.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, I don't know if anybody else is already typing stuff up, typing away. But if there's nothing else, please just say thank you in the chat, because it was such an interesting presentation, and the fact that nobody had heard of it, you know, eyes have been opened, I think, today to possibilities. Yeah, a really, really great presentation, Steve. And yeah, do get in touch with Steve, or just, you know, come back to us if you need any, if you want us to do anything as well. But if we're all done, then please, yeah, thank you again. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you again next week.
Brilliant.
Okay, all right.
Thank you all. Thank you,
Bye.
Susan. Thank you all. All the best.
Okay, bye,
Bye
Steve.
bye.